Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 34 of Big Brother Season 24's overnight feed recaps. And welcome to Cliff Notes. All right, before we talk about the recaps, a little special mention this morning. I realized yesterday that this channel just went over 10,000 subscribers. Thanks to each and every one of you. I appreciate the support so much. I truly do. This is a labor of love. I have a blast doing it. And I'm so appreciative of your support. So thank you for that. All right. Now, getting into the live feeds themselves, let's do a little bit of a refresher first. We had the veto ceremony yesterday. If you recall, Michael is the HOH. He's also the veto holder. And there was some pressure to leave Monty and Joseph and Terrence on the block with the idea of then backdooring Monty. This was coming from the non-leftover side of the house. They were pushing hard for it. Michael got up, and we didn't get to see the speech. Apparently, he referenced Daniel's speech from the first week, I guess. Sounds like it could have been a little bit brutal, but the end result is that Michael did not go with the other side of the house plans. Instead, he took Terrence, Joseph, and Monty off the block, put Daniel and Kyle back, or put them on the block, and the plan is currently to send Daniel out the door. And I think that's going to be what happens on Thursday. It seems like Daniel, almost a foregone conclusion that he's heading out, but that doesn't mean there weren't a lot of conversations last night trying to sway it the other direction. So we're going to talk about that, what happened overnight. They still had the backyard. They lost it at some point this morning. So they spent a lot of time in the backyard just trying to enjoy themselves. Some game talk, a lot of just casual chatter. We're going to cover a little bit of all that. All right. So first of all, let's talk about, late afternoon yesterday. We've got Taylor and Brittany and Kyle and Michael all sitting around the pool. Brittany is pointing out to this group that on day one, Jasmine pointed at Taylor's bed and said, I don't like her. She's not a girl's girl. They're just going back to the idea that you had this girls alliance and that somehow Brittany and Taylor were left out and how they just didn't make a lot of sense then. It still doesn't make sense. So they're rehashing a little bit about that first week and how, again, they just felt so excluded at the time. All right, we've got a lot of talk just about past seasons of Big Brother, who they liked, who they felt got kind of piled upon, just general chatter about the game of Big Brother. Michael does mention how passionate, we'll use that word, how passionate the Big Brother Twitter fans can be out there, that he warned his fiance how passionate they can be, and just talking about the Twitter is so, and social media in general is so involved in the game of Big Brother. They switch over to that, talking about Survivor. Michael is really calling out Survivor, the twist, and he hates the current twist they have. It's just not what it used to be. I hope Michael isn't planning on going to Survivor one day, because he wasn't real complimentary of the most recent seasons, but they talk about that. And there's a lot of talk about Amazing Race from a whole lot of house guests in different groups. You've got Jasmine and Terrence talking about it up by the patio. You've got this group talking about back by the swimming pool. I think you have Jasmine later talking about it to Joseph over on the hammock. It's amazing. I guess the Amazing Race has now become the go-to. Everyone gets through playing Big Brother. And then they just hope that maybe Amazing Race calls and they get another shot at reality TV. They all do it. Hey, CBS, give me a shout. Yeah, now so a lot of talk about Amazing Race. That was kind of fun. Now Jasmine's talking to Joseph, I think, on a hammock about Amazing Race, and she actually lets on that she tried out for the Amazing Race and she got very, very far in the audition process. Sounds like she may have been right up there as one of the selected people. There was something going on with one of her partners. She didn't go in detail that something didn't quite work out. But she just can't keep saying, yeah, I was like right there. I made it about as far as you can go. More power to her. She makes on the show. I'm sorry. I don't see, based on what's happened so far in Big Brother, Jasmine may be being the strongest Amazing Race contender. You gotta run. You can't have a fear of heights. Lots of things that Jasmine maybe hasn't really demonstrated in the game of Big Brother so far that you need an Amazing Race. But she says she got a long way. So a very interesting conversation. We finally do get a little bit game talk out in the backyard, and it is Jasmine and Joseph there in a hammock talking. Jasmine is talking about this whole meltdown the night before, and I got a little more details. Cidergate. Apparently, she had hidden away a can of hard cider of Michael's to give to him later. Michael had given it to Alyssa. He didn't really care about it. Suddenly, Indy couldn't find it. She was upset because she wanted it to be a big surprise. She got mad at Alyssa and Jasmine as a result and accused them of stuff. And that's how it started. So they're talking on the hammock a little bit. Jasmine is saying that she talked to Indy yesterday morning, that apparently they soothed it out. She says that Indy told her that Jasmine is one of her favorite people in the house, and that she would be incredibly upset if she thought Jasmine was upset with her. So I guess it got soothed over for now. I just feel like that's one of those things that maybe you stop talking about it, but there's some people in this house, they'll probably never completely forget about it either. All right, we do also have Jasmine talking to Joseph about how glad she is that veto was used. Oh my gosh, that would have been horrible if Joseph had to stay on the block and everything else. And yeah, we know Jasmine was pushing the other direction, but she is saying that. Jasmine is starting off kind of him-hawing around, asking Joseph if he would vote out Kyle. Eventually, I don't know if she ever just comes right out and says, we want you to vote out Kyle. But she basically gives out a lot of arguments about why that needs to happen. Joseph, playing dumb, like he's not really sure what's going on. Joseph just says, look, I'm going whichever way the house goes. I like Daniel. I like Kyle. I don't really want to vote either one out. Whichever way the house goes, I'm on board. That's all I care about. I'm just on board with the house. So he's not committing either way. He does mention at one point that he and Monty and he and Kyle never talk game, that they just kind of bro out with each other. They just don't talk game talk. He says, yeah, Monty kind of tells me things that he's planning to do and all that, but he never comes to me. He just says, this is what's going to happen. We just don't talk game or strategy. And sounds like Jasmine's buying it. Well, we know that's not the case, but it sounds like Jasmine's probably buying it. There's lots more talking. We'll talk about it in a second, but all of it's mainly just Joseph kind of playing along and saying what Jasmine wants to hear and not really committing to any information coming from his side. All right, we've got Kyle up in the HOH room talking to the camera on his own. He's talking about how tough it is being with Alyssa and trying to play the game at the same time. Saying he wishes that she was part of their alliance. Everything would be so much easier. But he's also saying that at this point, he's back with the leftovers. You know, nothing against Alyssa, but he's playing the game. He's with the leftovers, and unfortunately, she's not part of that alliance. But he's also going over who he thinks he could win against in a final two versus who he couldn't win against. He thinks he's got a decent chance of winning against a lot of people, but he's afraid that he would probably lose to Monty, to Joseph, to Michael, to Taylor, and to Jasmine. I'm not sure he'd lose to Jasmine. Taylor, it would depend on who made the argument of which way. The other three, yeah, I think he does stand a good chance of losing to him, but he's thinking about that. It sounds like Kyle may have his head back into the game a little bit. Now that may change the next time someone bats their pretty eyes at him and all that, but for at least now, he's thinking about gameplay. All right, we've got Joseph upstairs reporting to Kyle and Monty about the conversation he just had with Jasmine on the hammock. I'm not going to go over everything that was said, but he does also mention that Jasmine thinks that she has Joseph in her pocket, that Joseph's going to vote to save Daniel, and that she just needs one more person to flip the house. And if that happens, they can get out Kyle, they can save Daniel, and they're all set. But Joseph is saying that he told Jasmine and said, look, you don't have the votes. You just don't have the votes. It's not going to happen. And so as a result of that, Jasmine is saying that she'll vote with the house as well, that she's not sure if she's got them either. She'd love to flip the house, but that she wants to vote with the house also. What they've decided, and this is Joseph and Kyle and Monty, they really want to watch Alyssa and see how Alyssa responds. If it looks like Alyssa's flipping over to the other side to vote out Kyle, then Jasmine may feel like she has the votes. And so she's going to continue to talk to Joseph and try to sell him and all of that. So based on how Jasmine responds going forward for the next day or two is going to give them a good clue about maybe which way Alyssa's leaning for Thursday night's vote. All right, we've got Kyle saying, look, Alyssa, yeah, I love having her in the house and all that, but he says, this thing with Alyssa, it just isn't going to work. And I think, I got to do what I've got to do for my game. Joseph says, yeah, well, she may be gone next week. So, Kyle, I appreciate that because there may not be a Showmance for that much longer. Remember, next week's where they're supposed to officially pronounce that they're a Showmance together. Be pretty tough if they announce that. And then the next day or two, Kyle votes Alyssa out the door. But hey, maybe it's a possibility. But Joseph's saying, yeah, Alyssa potentially could be gone next week because she's probably the biggest competition threat of everyone left on that side of the house. All right, we've got talk about who Kyle should pick as his new partner on Thursday, assuming he survives and Daniel goes home. They're talking about maybe his best bet would to go ahead and join the trio of girls, Indy and Taylor and Alyssa, because if he did that, first of all, that means there's 4 people. Now, this is assuming that the bestie still lasts for another week, and I'm not convinced that's the case. But if it does, they figure that's his best chance because now he's got 3 other people also competing for HOH. So there's a decent chance that one of them could win HOH and keep all 4 of them safe. And also, even if that doesn't happen, if somehow those 4 ended up on the block, Monty and Joseph are saying, Kyle, you and Taylor, y'all be safe. It'd be either India or Alyssa who went out the door. So if Kyle joins that group, they feel like he's got the best chance of protection going forward. All right, we've got Jasmine and Alyssa talking to each other. Jasmine's basically reporting back what Joseph had told her, said, look, I just don't think we can get Kyle out this week. There's too many people that just have a grudge against Daniel that want to see him gone. As much as I want to flip it, Alyssa, I don't think it's going to happen. So it seems like they're starting to understand that this may not work as well as they thought, but they're going to continue to remain confident, at least when they're talking to other folks for the most part. At one point, Jasmine talks about the fact that she is absolutely dying because she is so hungry and she doesn't want to cook any food and she's not sure what she's going to do. It's a tough life. All right, we got Turner. A lot of laughing and humor outside. Turner apparently spinning a pool cue, trying to make a whooshing sound. Accidentally maybe hit the pool table wall. I'm not real sure, but broke a pool cue in 2. I'm sure Big Brother loved that. I guess I got another one they can share for a little while. I'm not sure they'll get that replaced, but they're all laughing about the fact that Turner's gotten a little destructive in the house. At least he just broke it over the pool table and not someone else's head or something, right? All right, we got Daniel and Terrence talking. They're both just kind of complaining to each other about how horrible life is in the house and how it just didn't work out the way they wanted it to. Daniel is complaining that that Monty and Taylor, they're best friends now. They're back at day number 7. They hated each other. They're gunning for each other. And now that they're best friends in the house. How crazy is that? Terrence is saying that he already told the other side, and I think this is Joseph maybe he told. He's saying he already told the other side that he threw the OTEV veto comp, so that Michael could win. If you did, Terrence, I'm not sure if that was the smartest decision in the world. We haven't seen the veto comp yet. I want to watch and see if truly Terrence stood a chance to win OTEV. If so, consider me impressed. But he says he threw the other side, and he's already, or through the competition, and he's already told the other side that he did it just so Michael could win, so Michael could take his shot. But Terrence is upset that his plan to stay on the block didn't work. What a crazy upside down world we're in right now, where someone's all upset that they didn't get to stay on the block for eviction Thursday. For Terrence, from his standpoint, it's a good thing he didn't stay on the block. All right, we got Dan talking about the fact that he recognizes that there's an alliance of 6 on the other side, plus Kyle. They're so close to getting this thing figured out. Sometimes I think they do, and then they go off a completely different direction and act like they are completely clueless about the whole thing. But Daniel's saying, yeah, there's this alliance of 6. Kyle's in there somehow, as well. Terrence is worried. He figures that the eviction order going forward, if Daniel goes home this week, he figures that he's next, and then Jasmine, and then Indy, and then probably Alyssa after that. Terrence is definitely a target. I don't think he's considered a big enough threat that he'll be considered the primary target next week. But time is limited if things don't change going forward. All right, we've got Alyssa and Kyle talking outside. Alyssa's telling Kyle, says, look, if you want to survive and everything, you need to talk to people a lot more. You aren't doing enough game talk with enough people. This is all based on the fact that Joseph had told Jasmine that he never talked game with Kyle, that he didn't know where Kyle's head was at or anything else. So he told Jasmine. Jasmine told Alyssa. Alyssa's now getting back to Kyle saying, yeah, you don't talk enough game. You need to go talk more. Kyle's doing all right talking game. Alyssa is also saying that she'd love to talk more, but she needs to go make some cookies before Jasmine gets upset. Remember, Jasmine's dying. She's got to get something. So Alyssa's going to go back and fix some cookies, apparently. All right, we've got Terrence and Jasmine and Daniel talking about this big alliance on the other side. And again, just when you think they've got it all figured out, they prove you wrong. Because as much as they're talking about this alliance, Jasmine and Daniel, neither one are actually believing that Joseph is part of it. In fact, while they're having this conversation, I think Joseph is there on the couch listening and just kind of playing the way Joseph plays sometimes, like he doesn't have a clue what's going on. And so, yeah, Jasmine, Daniel, Terrence, they don't think Joseph's part of it. In fact, at one point, Terrence says something like, you better not be a part of it since we're talking about all of it right here in front of you. And Joe said, I swear I don't have anything to do. I don't talk game. I don't know anything about this. So at that point, Terrence is explaining the alliance to Joseph, and Joseph just playing dumb and said, wow, gee, I missed all of that. Yeah. All right. Jasmine is warning Alyssa that talking about this alliance. Jasmine's telling Alyssa, saying, look, Monty, Taylor, Turner, Brittany, Michael, they're all in an alliance together. Again, they left out Joseph, but saying they're all in this alliance together. And Jasmine at that point says, have you noticed I'm trying to be get tight with Brittany and Taylor because I know they're part of this other group. And that's why I've been so nice to them here lately, just to try to get closer, figure out what's going on. We've also got Jasmine. All right, now here's it. Terrence says he threw OTEV. All right, I want to see the video to see if that's the case or not. Jasmine is also saying that she threw OTEV because she thought Michael would take the shot. So she wanted to give Michael the chance to take the shot of keeping the noms the same and sending Monty out the back door. So, yeah, Jasmine threw OTEV. I definitely have to see the video on that one. We know Jasmine's a comp beast, right? I'm sure Michael wouldn't have stood a shot if Jasmine wanted to win that thing. And now she's revealing that, yeah, in fact, she did throw OTEV just so Michael could take a shot, and then he didn't do it. How disappointing is that? All right, we've got Terrence and Daniel talking in the golf room. They're thinking they could probably convince Alyssa to vote out Kyle this coming up week. They've told her it'll look huge on her resume. The idea that she would vote out her own showmance just in order to further her game. Man, Alyssa, that's going to look amazing when you get to final two and explain that to the jury. So they feel like they can go ahead and flip Alyssa. I think it's going to be harder than they think. Jasmine is now also talking to Daniel and Terrence, trying to figure out exactly what they can do to save Daniel. And Jasmine is thinking that they've already got Joseph, that they can flip Alyssa, and then they're trying to figure out how to get the rest of the people on board. And they've talked about maybe planting a seed that Brittany is on board also, that Brittany has promised Daniel his vote or her vote to save him at one point. And now they've come up with a new interesting plan that they'll go ahead and let Joseph vote to save Daniel, but they're going to blame that vote on Brittany and let Joseph go ahead and tell everyone else that he voted to save Kyle. Blame the vote on Brittany because I think Brittany will have a meltdown. She'll blow up at that point in time, and it'll create all kinds of chaos and mistrust on the other side. So get Joseph on board, which they've already got, flip Alyssa, and then when they save Daniel, blame one of the extra votes on Brittany so they can blow up the other side. They got it figured out, right? I mean, what could go wrong? So they're going to do that. Daniel's saying the other thing is that when it comes Thursday night, the eviction speech, he is going to absolutely throw Michael under the bus. I guess he's upset about the veto speech that Michael gave, so he's going to return the favor, just absolutely throw him under the bus. Jasmine is saying, don't go after just Michael. Throw Monty under the bus as well. If you're heading out the door, take out both of them. All right, we've got Jasmine pitching the plan to Joseph that we just talked about. And she's saying, look, Daniel loves you. Daniel wants to work with you, Joseph. We know you're on board. Let's just make sure that this thing works. And she's saying you can vote to save Daniel. No one's even going to know about it because we're going to blame the vote on Brittany. So They got it figured out. After Joseph leaves, Jasmine seems very satisfied. She turns to the camera and says, "This house is about to get real wild." We'll see. You may get wild for a whole bunch of different reasons. All right, we've got Joseph and Taylor again talking Amazing Race. But here's why I'm mentioning it, because Joseph and Taylor talking about, and Joseph said, "But if you and I went on an Amazing Race together, this showmance would have to probably become real just to make it get us on the show." Keep that in mind. Maybe we see it become real at some point in the future. All right, we've got Jasmine and Indy talking. They're saying that the other side, the leftovers, they're not calling the leftovers. They're calling this the leftover lines. The other side's calling them the house. Vote with the house. Everything. So that's their name for it. But basically, Jasmine and Indy are talking, saying that the other side, if Daniel goes home this week, they're going to take out Kyle the following week. And at that point, Jasmine is also filling Indy in on this plan to pin the vote on Brittany and try to blow up the other side before too much more damage happens to their side of the house. All right, we've got Jasmine talking to Daniel, telling Daniel that, look, Joseph's going to vote out Kyle because he always does what I say. Or what I do. Whatever I do, Joseph will do the same thing. So I know I've got Joseph is willing to vote out Kyle. They agree that the biggest missing piece, the biggest tough task they've got is going to be to convince Alyssa to vote out Kyle. Poor Alyssa. She's going to get the full court press for the next couple of days from this side. They're going to be wanting to talk to her, buddy up, be as nice as possible to her the entire time to try to get her to flip. Which makes me wonder, if that's the case, why is Alyssa making cookies for Jasmine? Why isn't Jasmine making cookies for Alyssa? We may see that. And then the desperation will truly be in place. All right, we've got a leftovers meeting up in the HOH room in the middle of the night. Pretty long meeting. They spent a lot of time up there. But just to summarize, Kyle's reporting that Alyssa had said that Daniel's going to be campaigning against their showmance. He's going to try to drive a wedge into their showmance in order to get Alyssa to vote out Kyle. That Daniel is also planning to blow up the alliance of Monty and Taylor and Turner and Michael and Brittany as part of his move this week. And Brittany is also mentioning that Terrence tried to get Joseph to join Old School today. Hey, Joseph's won. Everyone wants Joseph. Everyone wants Joseph's vote. Brittany's also saying that they're really pushing Alyssa to vote Kyle out. Kyle's responding saying, look, I don't hold it against her. She's just playing the game. But it is going to make it a little bit easier for me to vote her out if I know that she's at least willing to vote me out as well. So maybe it's not such a bad thing that she's playing the game, because Kyle's ready to play the game as well. I hope so, at least. All right. We've got, they're all laughing that the other side is saying that they've got the numbers this week. And they're saying, haven't they said that for the last 2 weeks? 2 weeks in a row, they thought they had the numbers that didn't work out. And now here we are, a third week, and they're saying it once again. And once again, they're going to be proven wrong. Yeah, you'd think they'd figure it out at some point, right? Maybe someday. Maybe it won't be till Final 4 or 5, but at some point, they got to figure this alliance out, right? All right, we've got Joseph eventually comes in. This is a leftovers meeting, except for Joseph, because Joseph's a free agent, supposedly. So he's downstairs hobnobbing around and all that. Well, Joseph comes in and says, just to let y'all know, I'm now part of Old School. Yeah, I've been told that I am now a member. And he says, I've been sent up to basically keep an eye on y'all, to spy on you, call it what you will, but I've been sent out to see what's going on up here. And he's saying that the other side is saying that if they do lose Daniel this week, they're not sure they have the votes. If they lose Daniel this week, well, they'll just grab Kyle. They'll pull Kyle into their group instead, join up with Alyssa, and they'll get Kyle to be the main person to take the shots going forward. So they still have it all figured out. They've got their backup plans. Joseph is revealing to them this vote, or this plan to pin this hinky vote on Brittany and try to blow everything up. So it's not going to work. They're all aware of it at this point in time. All right, we've got Michael talking about the fact that he is glad that Daniel's going home after he hears that Daniel has this big, huge eviction speech planned against Michael. Taylor maybe had the comment of the evening. Taylor says, well, at least Daniel won't have to talk to me until finale night. Yeah, there you go. Daniel's getting his wish. He said during that blow up, he didn't want her to talk to him until finale night. He doesn't have to worry about it at this point in time. He can still watch her on TV. He can watch Taylor on the live feeds, but he doesn't have to talk to her. All right, we've got Joseph laughing about the fact that Terrence told him that the two of them, their ride or dies, that he's got Joseph all the way through. And Joseph saying, I think Terrence has told like 6 other people that. He's told everyone their ride or dies. And so they're all laughing. Taylor said, yeah, he told me that also. We know that's not the case. All right. We know that Terrence is not considering Taylor a ride or die, right? There's not a chance. All right, we've got talk. Moves on to talk about the next HOH. Michael is saying that he thinks Jasmine winning the next HOH maybe could be a worst case scenario. He thinks that she would probably put up Brittany and Michael, maybe, or would she go after Monty? I'm not sure, but certainly that's a valid concern that she could put up Brittany and Michael. Joseph is saying that Terrence has pretty much made it clear he's going to give Daniel a pity vote no matter what. And Terrence is just upset and feeling betrayed by Terrence that even when the writing's on the wall, Terrence is still going to vote to support Daniel. And so she's feeling a little down about that. So at that point, we've got Joseph and Monty saying that the other side thinks that Kyle is going to join up with Michael and Brittany if he survives the vote. That's going to be his new bestie duo. As I said, though, the plan is actually for him to join up Alyssa, Indy, and Taylor. How are Indy and Taylor going to think about that if they got a Showmance in with their little group of 2 that now becomes 4? We'll see. Again, it all depends on if Besties keeps on going. All right, we're wrapping this up, but we got Michael and Brittany alone talking. Michael saying as much as he hates to do it, he's going to have to talk to Jasmine. He's going to tell her that Daniel's the more imminent threat, the more immediate threat, so he had to just go ahead and get Daniel out the door, but he's fine going after Monty the following week and following up with making Monty the target. So he didn't want to completely reveal the leftovers and all that. So he's saying, yeah, we'll go after Monty. We just had to get Daniel out first. He is feeling good that the other side seems to be a little bit more focused on Monty as a target than him. That makes him feel a little bit safer. But Michael is worried as well. And I think this is a very valid concern. Michael's worried that if Besties is over and the other side wins HOH, they could easily put up Monty and Michael against each other and try to get one of them out the door. I think that's a legitimate concern and a very likely scenario if the other side wins HOH. And that's the bigger if. Is there anyone on the other side that still has the capability to win an HOH? Expect the unexpected. Finally, we've got Joseph and Taylor in the bathroom talking about Terrence, how much they would have wanted to work with him, and he just casts his lots at the wrong side, how disappointing it is, and just not the way they wanted things to go. Each one of them at one point saying that they think the other one is the smartest player in the game. These two just seem to get along well, so we'll see. Showmance, maybe, still a possibility. And with that, guys, house guest in bed, around 5:30 or so. They stayed up all night long, but house guest in bed around 5:30 or so. Let's see what happens today. I expect a full court press pitching to try to get Alyssa to turn on Kyle. Joseph's going to get pulled both directions. Joseph's already said he's so tired of having to lie to the other side and play like he doesn't know what's going on, but I think that's his job for at least another day or so. We'll find out. I'll be back tomorrow to give y'all a fresh new recap of what happened Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Until then, guys, have a fantastic Tuesday. Cheers, my friends. SKD 143